uploaded a video the other day and everyone was commenting about my nipples. There's about 5 or 6 comments about Gyno and my nipples because there's a little bit in the video where it shows a photo of me in that mirror from that morning and everybody was saying about it. And I just want to make this video in a real sense about gyno and dealing with it and how it kind of affects you in a real sense. This is not to be like negative and a victim or whatever. I just want to give you this insight on how to deal with it essentially and how to get better through it. And I just want to rewind you to about 5 or 6 years ago. It was a little while ago now. And I remember I was on a school trip and we came back from the trip and we went into the hall, the school hall, where they do assemblies and all that shit. And I remember my mates were poking me. And they started poking my nipples. They were like, just kept poking them, saying I got tits and shit like that. And I was a bit like, oh, that's hurt my confidence a bit. But at the time, I was quite obese and I was quite fat. So it made sense a little bit in that context because I was quite fat and I was quite out of shape. So I thought if I get in shape and if I get leaner, maybe it'll go. Maybe the gyno will go and it'll look better. And the weird thing was, when I lost weight and when I got in shape, my gyno obviously got a bit better, of course, because I would be in better shape, my testosterone would be a bit better, and there'd be less fat on my body, so it would look better necessarily, but it would still be there. And I even recall about a month ago, me and my mates, we went to the pub, and literally I was wearing a white t-shirt, a white Armani t-shirt, and it fitted really good, and I felt confident, and I felt great in it. Well, one of them was pointing out my nipples. He was like, oh, I can see your nipples, and I was like, yeah, you can. And it was because of gyno essentially, and it kind of ruins the whole look in a sense, in a way, if you get very self-conscious. Luckily, I'm not ridiculously self-conscious about it because I've seen videos online where people are very self-conscious about it. Luckily, I've just understood it's something I have to deal with and I just carry on with it, because if you're in better shape than most people anyway, that's what matters anyway, and how you feel in yourself more so over is what matters anyway. You could be in better shape than other people and that almost automatically draws their attention to that and not your gyno or something like that. But I just want to make this video for the people who is actually dealing with it, because I've been there and I've actually been through it my whole life. I remember I was on a holiday in Mallorca, I believe, and this was like 10 years ago, so a while ago. I would have been like 11 or 12. And me and my bro were pointing in the mirror, looking at the mirror, and I got a little bit chubby. And I remember just having puffy nipples, like fuck. And I thought, oh, if I lose weight, it'd go. But the sad reality is, if you lose weight, it doesn't really go. And what I will say is, it is one of these things that is kind of a blessing in a weird sense. And I know people get surgery and all that to get rid of it, but I don't think I'll ever get surgery. It really don't affect me like that much. I don't even notice it most of the time, to be fair. Other people may notice it, but I don't notice it that much. And people never bring it up unless they're a little bit like insecure or something, you know what I mean? The YouTube comments is different because obviously it's like, you can make a joke out of it and it can be kind of funny, but let's say in real life, people might bring it up as like, you know what I mean? Like as a joke or whatever. And a lot of times it comes out of insecurity, like they bring out something that you can't necessarily control anyway, if that makes sense. And what I want to say is, when you start getting comfortable with you as a person, when you start looking into yourself as a person and you don't value yourself on the external image essentially, so let's say my physique and how I look, a lot of people value themselves on that, but me as a person, I value myself on how I actually perceive myself on the inside and how I act. So therefore, I feel like that's mostly why I haven't had to deal with that insecurity as bad as other people, even though people's pointed it out to me. Even though I just brush it off and think, oh, it is what it is, it's nothing I can do anyway, like, you know what I mean? But other people may actually have that as something big in their head because they may not be that confident in their physique and their body or how people perceive them. And I'm lucky in a sense because I've had a lot of compliments from people in regards to my physique, from men, from women. Like when I started going out years ago, it was only like 2.5 years ago, girls start complimenting me and I get it now, and it just random compliments and stuff. So maybe that is what has almost altered that in a sense, you know. And that just comes down to getting in good shape, building yourself and building your body. But what I will say is, the main thing is just being comfortable with who you are. The main thing is being comfortable and not relying on your external image as something that is everything, you know. That is everything, because a lot of guys have that, where their external image is literally everything. And I used to be in a position like that where I used to put everything on my external image, how I was perceived. And now I don't really care too much. I'd rather just be me as a person and literally portray me as a person and not put on an act or not fake it or whatever. And on a real level, when you do that, you start to actually overcome the insecurity a little bit, you know? And I wouldn't even say it's an insecurity at the end of the day, because it's something you can't really control anyway, you know? Like, if you get surgery, of course, but who wants to wait like fucking 4 weeks or 6 weeks without moving? You know what I mean? Is it really that worth it for your nipples? Like, you know what I mean? And I do remember having issues years ago where I used to train kickboxing, and after it, my nipples would be very sore, and I'd have to put cream on them in order for it to be better, you know? So there was little things going wrong in a sense, but at the end of the day, you can only view yourself as you as a person. You don't want to become too reliant on the external image anyway. And this doesn't mean don't strive towards getting in better shape like I do. I've strived towards getting in better shape, and I've got in decent shape where obviously I feel confident and I feel happy. But there's certain things that you can't change. So gyno, whatever, you know the stuff you can change. Certain things you can't change. But what you can change is how you disciplined you are, how you act, your habits, and how you eat, and all this, and you're going to get the main results from it. Your physique may not look as good as someone who don't have gyno, but you can build an amazing physique where you feel confident, you feel grateful, and you still get compliments. You still get all the benefits. You may not get one girl because of it, or you may not get one friend because of it, or whatever it is, but it doesn't matter that much, man. At the end of the day, it's about you and how you base yourself as a person. It's not about all this external shit. And this is what I'm really coming to grips with recently, especially in my life, where I'm understanding the external stuff. It doesn't really matter a ridiculous amount unless you put value on it. Unless you put value on your image and how you look, and you're really insecure, this person's judging me because of my nipples look like this. And in a real level, like, look, you can see I'm through there. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I could do, man. There's nothing I could do. So what would be worse? Me diving into that insecurity and saying, oh, I look horrible, I look terrible, I'm never going to look good with my shirt off, I'm never going to look good, I'm never going to look good. Prime example, when I was in Spain, I had my shirt off a little bit. I was on a bulk. I bulked up about 15 pounds. And I remember the people were giving me compliments. The rep who was walking around, he's like, Louis, you're in really good shape. And we were joking around about random shit and all that. And that felt really good for my compliments. And I remember there was another girl, that literal trip, who wanted me because of my muscle, essentially, which is crazy. And on a real level, when you literally get in exceptional shape and you start building yourself and you start building some muscle, this doesn't matter that much. This doesn't matter that much. People will make it out like it's a bigger insecurity than it is. It don't matter that much. And when you literally look at yourself and you become too reliant on the external image, that's when you start struggling with it. But when you understand that you as a person matters way more than your nipples. You as a person matters way more than all the external shit. Let's say you have a flashy car, a fucking Lamborghini, a Rolex, and all this stuff. You're being reliant on this external image to attract people anyway. You know what I mean? It's not you as a person, rarely. It's the external stuff, and you're wanting that attraction. And naturally, I feel like as humans, we want to do that. But at the end of the day, that isn't truly you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's external shit. Let's say your physique, your body, what you build is you in a sense. But how people perceive you isn't you. Someone can perceive you completely different to how you perceive yourself. Someone can look at you and think, oh, he's a dickhead. And other people can look at you and think he's amazing. And this is what I've had in my life. I've had people who's looked at me and had deep dislike, deep anger and pain towards me for some reason, just because of random shit. Or sometimes I haven't even done nothing to them, but because of how you hold yourself and your aura and your belief and literally your mindset, your confidence. And I've had other people who's really been nice, respectful, and more so over as respectful all the time, pretty much. It's just you get a few people here or there who are disrespectful. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter a ridiculous amount, does it? You know what I mean? And I just want to get this message home to you lot, that when you have external things in your body or external whatever it is, something wrong with you, you may have a birthmark somewhere, you may have something literally wrong with you, or you may have something that you're not proud with, you may have like a mole on your face, you may have something that you're not actually happy for, and you feel like everybody looks at it. Just understand that the external you isn't actually you, really. You're basically a vessel. This is getting wishy-washy as fuck, but you're basically a vessel, and you choose how you speak to people, you choose how you act, you try to interact in certain ways and make people feel comfortable. If they only value you because of how you look, then that's negative anyway. You know what I mean? I've had things before where women or whatever value me because of how I look. We get on for a bit, and then I understand our personalities don't match. So it's like, why am I even in this anyway? Why am I even trying this? At that point, you got to dip. You know what I mean? That's what I do, because it's not necessarily something right for me. So if I have that mindset with that, I have that mindset with friendships. It's the external thing and almost the persona that they want. They want the external you. They don't want you as a person. And when you find real people in your life and real friends, it doesn't matter as much, you know? It doesn't matter. Like, if I wear a white t-shirt and it fits quite tight, let's say it fits like this one, you're going to see my nipples. You're going to see the gyno. But does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? I remember years ago, I used to get a little bit funny about it when I go to the gym. I used to get a bit funny about it. I didn't want to wear my shirt anymore. But does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like, in a real sense, like when we put it on a real life sense, does that show anything about you apart from what you've been born with? You know what I mean? Or how you've ate growing up, or just the hand you've dealt, essentially. You know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't show anything about your character. It doesn't show anything about you as a person. It doesn't show what you've done for people. It doesn't show how hardworking you are, how ambitious you are, your personality, how good in an overall sense you are. It doesn't show how articulate you are. It doesn't show anything. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you disconnect that external feeling from essentially that external thing, you disconnect your feelings from it and understand that's not you. That's when you start winning. And that's when you start feeling good. It's like, even in different things in my life, like different relationships or different friendships or things that went wrong, I understand the perception of me that they've got isn't actually me on a deeper level. So I don't feel that pain or sadness for that. That makes sense. Or I may have not been how they perceive me, if that makes sense. If they've acted in a certain way, we may have an argument or something, I'm not that person anyway, you know what I mean? And it may have been from something they've done, and then they get angry at that. But at the end of the day, your external image, it's only external. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily you as a person. It doesn't shape you as a person if you got things wrong with you, you know what I mean? If anything, it's better in a sense, I would say, because when you look at yourself and you build from that, and you may start from a position of having gyno, being fat, then you get in shape and you may have a bit of gyno. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. I think I'm one of them that doesn't care that much. I know a lot of people do care, but I think it's literally just detaching from that external image and understanding the external image of you. Even your external physique isn't necessarily you. But you could argue like your physique is, in a sense, because of the effort and the consistency and the persistency that you put in. But on a real level, it's not you. It's not you as a person, and then it doesn't reflect you on a real level. So that's where I feel like the advantage comes in, and that's why I feel like I've been able to shift it. Years ago, I used to feel like it's a big insecurity. Now I didn't care. Like, I really didn't care. Someone can make fun of me and I'll be like, oh, it's what it is. So I can't do anything about it. So like, if I get sad about it, if I choose to be like a bit like shy offish because of it, or do I just embrace it, say it is what it is, I can't do anything about it, and that's not me anyway. Like, that's just something that's happened, something I had no control over. And this is like more so a video on insecurities in a sense, isn't it? But on a real level, when you have this mindset that it is what it is, and you detach from the external image or the external thing that's wrong with you, and you look into yourself and understand that doesn't demonstrate me as a person anyway, that's when you start actually understanding who you are. And people didn't care. People do not care. You will literally have weird people who point it out in real life. The comments, I don't really care. It's here or there, and you get loads of random comments. So it's what it is. Some of them were funny, to be fair, but in a real life sense, people who point it out are just not comfortable with themselves. I've had so many people in my life where they've pointed out insecurities in certain people for no reason that you can tell they're self-conscious about, just to make themselves feel better. And a lot of times that's what it is. So if you have the mindset that these people are insecure anyway to point it out, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, it's something you can't control. So why would you point that out to someone? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it literally comes from detaching yourself from this external image. You know what I mean? And understanding you're not perfect. No one's perfect. No one's even close to perfect. You know what I mean? I know what some of you are going to say, this celebrity is close to perfect. And it's like, of course they're not. No one's close to perfect. You know what I mean? So if you understand that mindset and understand it doesn't demonstrate you as a person, that's when you start actually winning and start actually understanding yourself and feeling better about yourself. And that's going to be the real message in this video. Hope you got a lot of value. If you want any help getting in shape, shoot me an email. I'll go in my bio and I might pop up on screen and all. Thank you for watching.